All right, now to our next conversation. Well, last year, 2 years after the executive order number 007 was signed by President Muhammadu Buhari, the scheme for 21 critical roads received a boost when the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited handed over 621 billion naira check to the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. The scheme seeks to encourage public-private partnership intervention in the construction and refurbishment of road projects in Nigeria. Well, let's discuss developments in the infrastructure tax credit. We have Idris Ejimarua, a tax policy analyst, join us right there from Abuja. Great to have you on the program.
Good morning, Daddy.
Good morning. So, we're aware that the federal government, has pushed to construct new infrastructure, nationwide, and seeks to involve the private sector, in major ways. But what can you tell us about how the Presidential Executive Order 7 works?
First of all, it's very important to know that from reports available, there is an infrastructure deficit in Nigeria of almost about projected to be about 120 trillion in the next 26 years. Now, going by the present budgetary allocation, in which the capital budget is less than 30% of the total annual budget, is going to be a very tough order to meet up the infrastructure demand. So in trying to meet up the infrastructure demand, the government under the President Muhammadu Buhari signing the Executive Order 007 on 25th of January 2021. Now, this executive order to encourage public-private partnership in the development of road infrastructure, because the Executive Order 007 is titled Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Order 2021. Now, we see a lot of companies with large tax credit liabilities and who are also suffering from lack of infrastructure. Just like your last speaker said, Mr. George, the infrastructure gap in every angle from roads to telecoms to power. And now to meet up this infrastructure on roads, this executive order is to involve private sector. The beautiful thing about it is this: the private sectors are supposed to do their proposal, focus on infrastructure that mainly controls that are of importance to the operation, and instead of paying FRS, their tax credit liability arising from corporate income tax, they simply use the fund, naira to naira, to do these infrastructural projects. And this will encourage fast infrastructure development. Everybody's a winner. The government is a winner. The people are winner. The economy is boosted. The interconnectivity between states, the movement of goods and services will be well funded. And with this, in a short while, because the order has a time lapse of 10 years, and we hope that in the next 10 years, we would have largely closed the infrastructural gap to a point that our annual budget will be able to take care of the Nigerian needs. So this is what has been happening. And looking at NNPC following the PIB, that's the PIA, the Petroleum Industry Act, the NNPC being now a liability, unlimited liability company, now decided, because today, as it is, as reported by FRS, NNPC is the highest tax-paying company in Nigeria today. And looking at that huge tax liability, I've decided to take over and carry out an intervention on 21 federal roads, cutting across the 6 geopolitical regions: the North Central, the South-South, the Southwest, the Southeast, Northeast, and Northwest. And this is a very fantastic project because it has timeline to this project. The timeline of 24 months. So you are not sure that despite that this project is financed by NNPC through the Federal Ministry of Works, the NNPC will be able to manage and ensure that within this short timeline, these infrastructures are provided.
Hello, Mr. Rua.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir?
Yes. So I wanted to ask, what is the difference, between this tax credit scheme and, corporate social responsibility? What's the, fine line between these two concepts?
Now, corporate social responsibility are not tax-based. These are free will activities of the companies, basically to the community where they exist, and to ensure that, okay, they contribute to the environment where they operate. But when you talk of these tax liabilities, credit liabilities, it's a one-to-one. For instance, you first have to present your document for FIRS. FIRS have to determine what your tax credit liability is. Then you now write a proposal for the project. So instead of paying this money in cash to NNPC, what you simply do is to carry out this project under the supervision of the relevant ministry to the exact value of your tax liability. So it is not a tax exemption scheme or a social responsibility. Social responsibility is something you decide to do out of your profit, probably out of your, what you call after-tax profit.
Looking at most of the companies, involved, these are, mostly, big companies. Is there a barrier to entry into this, tax credit scheme?
No, going by the act, the executive order, there's no barrier because you are supposed to sit down, write a proposal. There's a committee called the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Credit Tax Scheme Committee, headed by the Minister of Finance. You write your proposal to them, they'll study it. On this committee, you have BPP, you have FIRS, you have other relevant ministries that have to do with infrastructure. They will now look at your proposal and see that, yes, the cost you attach to it, the timeline you attach to it is realistic. Then FIRS will look at your tax liability and give the necessary approval. They will issue a certificate to go ahead and execute the project. So there's no limit. You job, but the executive order 007 is specifically on roads. On roads, not other infrastructure. So if you're going to present a proposal, based on this executive order, it has to be on roads.
Quite interesting. But why is the NNPC getting involved, and what exactly are they doing within this initiative?
Now, if you look at NNPC, over the years, we've had issues of disruption of their services. One, the pipeline, the former PPMC, was supposed to distribute product through the pipeline all over the country. But this network has suffered due to continued vandalization. And because of that vandalization, the pipeline are virtually down. So NNPC had to rely on road transport for energy distribution. So there's a big problem with energy security, energy distribution all over the country. And most time, NNPC's attempt to meet up the demand across the country is being faced with threat from petroleum tanker drivers, National Association of Road Transport Owners, who threaten to go on strike because of bad roads. So you cannot see NNPC involvement. NNPC is investing in massive sum of 621 billion, covering about 1,800 kilometers of roads all over the country, from North Central, where they are investing about 244 billion to construct a 791-kilometer road, South-South, 117 billion to construct 81.9-kilometer road, Southwest, 81 billion to construct about 252-kilometer road, Northeast, about 56 billion to construct 273-kilometer road, Southeast, 43 billion to construct about 122-kilometer road, and Northwest, 23 billion to construct about 283-kilometer road. And if you take analysis of all these roads, let's start from North Central. You look at the troublesome, because this has been a headache to the Federal Ministry of Works. In fact, I think for a very long time since I was a child, this road has been a troublesome one. The Ilorin, Jeba, Mokwa, Bokani road had been a very terrible road. Now NNPC is putting so much resources, then putting up other resources within the North Central, up to Lambata, Bida, Mokwa, Makera, Tagina, Minasulija, and this is likely because of the depot, the strategic depots of NNPC that exist within Niger states. Now, when you also look at the south-south, you look at the Idupani to Ikotekpene Road, which they are dualizing, and the Iko-Iboku power plant, which they are also dualizing. This is also a massive road that will push a lot of the resources upstream from the Niger Delta. We have the same similar project all over the other regions. And these roads, if they are done, the issue of energy distribution, energy balancing, and petroleum will be there. And this threat of petrol tanker drivers and National Association of Road Transport Owners will be off. And NNPC will also be good for it, because it means more business, more money, more profit, more taxes for the country, and employment, and boosting the economy.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Idris Arua. Well, it's a 10-year scheme. We'll keep tracking to see the progress of it all. Thank you so much for coming on the program as tax policy analyst. It was great talking to you.
Thank you very much.